Are iPhone auto clickers safe to use? What you need to know. Hey there, fellow iPhone users. Waving hand if you're into mobile gaming, productivity apps, or anything that involves repetitive actions, you've probably heard about iPhone auto clickers. For some, these little apps can be lifesavers, automating the tapping so you don't have to do it yourself. But before you dive in and download one, there are a few things you should know about using them. So let's talk safety. What is an iPhone auto clicker? First, let's break it down. An iPhone auto clicker is a tool that automates tapping on your screen. Whether you're grinding in a game, filling out surveys, or just trying to save your thumb from repetitive taps, these apps can mimic human interaction by continuously tapping at a specific point on the screen. It sounds pretty cool, right? But before you go ahead and start using one, there are a few concerns you should consider. 1. Is it safe to use on your iPhone? One of the first things you need to know is that iPhone auto clickers aren't always officially supported by Apple. Most of the time, these apps come from third-party developers and aren't available directly from the App Store. This means they might not be as secure as other apps that go through Apple's rigorous vetting process. If you're side-loading an auto clicker from a website, there's a risk of downloading malicious software or compromising your device's security. The risk isn't super high, but it's something to keep in mind. Always be cautious about where you're downloading from. Stick to trusted sources whenever possible, and don't just grab anything from a random link. 2. Can using an auto clicker get you banned? If you're thinking about using an auto clicker for games, especially competitive ones, you need to consider the ethics and risks involved. Many mobile games, particularly those with in-app purchases or competitive play, have strict rules against using automation tools. Using an auto clicker in these games can get you banned or penalized. For example, games that require manual tapping, like idle clickers or resource-gathering games, might flag your account if they detect automated behavior. Developers use various methods to track irregular patterns, and excessive use of auto clickers could raise red flags. So, if you value your game account and don't want to risk losing it, it's probably not a good idea to use an auto clicker for gameplay. 3. Privacy concerns. Another thing to think about is privacy. Many auto clicker apps ask for permissions like access to your screen, notifications, or even your app usage. This can be a huge privacy concern, especially if the app isn't from a reputable developer. If the app is requesting more permissions than it should, like access to your camera or microphone when it's not necessary, that's a major red flag. It's always a good idea to check app permissions and read reviews before installing anything. Make sure the app's developer has a solid reputation and check if others have had issues with privacy or security. 4. Alternatives to auto clickers. If you're hesitant about the risks of using an auto clicker, there are some safer alternatives you can explore. Many games or apps have built-in automation features that you can use without any third-party tools. Some apps even allow you to adjust the speed of certain tasks, which can reduce the need for manual clicking. If you're simply trying to boost your productivity on tasks like filling out forms or doing repetitive work, some iPhone accessibility features, like Assistive Touch, can simulate tapping or swiping for you. While it might not be as fast as a dedicated auto clicker, it's much safer and more in line with Apple's guidelines. 5. Can you get in trouble with Apple? Using an auto clicker that violates Apple's terms of service, like those that require jailbreaking your device, can potentially get you into trouble. Jailbreaking opens your iPhone to more customization options, but also removes many of Apple's built-in security measures. This can leave your device vulnerable to malware and other security threats. Apple's stance on automation tools is pretty clear. They don't encourage the use of third-party apps that interfere with iPhone functionality. So, using an auto clicker that goes against Apple's rules could result in issues like losing access to Apple services, updates, or even having your device locked. The bottom line, proceed with caution. So, are iPhone auto clickers safe? Well, it depends. If you're just using them for simple, low-risk tasks and you're downloading from a trusted source, the risk is relatively low. But if you're thinking of using one for gaming or other apps with strict rules, be prepared for potential consequences like account bans or losing access to services. As always, weigh the risks and benefits, and remember, when it comes to your privacy, security, and accounts, it's better to be safe than sorry. Stay cautious, folks. Shield. Happy clicking, but with care.